All right. Welcome, everyone, to the beginning of our January health reset. This is so exciting. I know that many of you are watching this as a replay, and some of us are here today gathered to initiate the beginning of our 90-day transformation. And this is really, I just first want to say congratulations for taking this step, for giving yourself this gift, for committing to 90 days of unpacking and unraveling what may have been decades of accumulating certain symptoms or imbalances. And we're really excited for you to feel really good coming out the other end of this and start to really feel good pretty swiftly. So we have some facilitators here who are going to be sharing tips, inspiration, all the ways that we have personally been supported best in doing these transformations over the years. And then we're going to have a Q&A at the end to cover some commonly asked questions. So first, I just really want to honor everybody who's taken this plunge. And remember that you don't have to go it alone. So if you have anybody you're thinking of that you want to bring along for the journey, feel free to continue to invite people to join you. It's great for accountability. It's great for making it more fun. It's great for just making it more stick into our daily lifestyle. And we're going to be talking about some of those tips too, as to how to make it fluid and integrate beautifully into your day. So welcome everybody. And I'm going to pass it over to Leah for the first bit of instruction.
Oops. Hi, my name is Leah, and I love facilitating and guiding people through this journey. I'm an acupuncturist and integrative health coach and practitioner, and really see so much transformation happen with this program and protocol, and look forward to witnessing all of you in that. And so before I go into the logistics of what's in your box and how to use it, I want to just invite you, as you're stepping into this journey for yourself, to take some time and possibly journal or reflect on what is it that your intentions are. What are you wanting to see happen for yourself? And take a before and after, a before picture for yourself. You don't need to share this on social media or with anybody, but it's a really powerful thing to do, to see the transformations that happen in your own body, in your face. So I recommend getting either naked or into a bathing suit and taking pictures from the front, from the sides, even from the back, and then just of your face. I've seen so much change with dark circles under my eyes, my skin, and it's really amazing to watch that, because you'll see yourself every day, but to be able to go back after 30 days or 60 days or 90 days and see how much you've changed is really, really powerful. And also, like, wow, look what I did for myself. So I want to invite you to do that, as well as sit with some of whatever your intentions, because it can help you to stick with it, because it can get difficult at times if you're having detox symptoms, or if a wave of cravings come up, or a wave of old symptoms, which can happen as we're detoxing, to really come back to what are your intentions for this time, and to ground into that. Why are you doing this for yourself? What are you wanting to get out of it? Why are you committing to this self-care and self-love time? So with that, I want to go into what's in your box and how you use it. And Leela, who will speak next, will share more about how we're recommending to shift your diet and what you're taking in. But right now, I'm just going to go into the core products here that you received in your box. And if you ordered any add-ons, just check in with the person who guided you here, and they will tell you how to integrate those add-ons into the program. So there are 3 schedule options. One is the simple schedule, one is accelerated, we call it accelerated, and one is intermittent fasting. So I'm going to go over those very briefly with all of the products. So first of all, the names of the products that you have are called Super Aminos 23, and those are amino acids. They're great for the source of protein, for muscle, for energy, for your nervous system. You have Power Shake, and if you ordered any other shake, that would be either dark berry protein or the super meal. You have your Biomedic, and you have your Super Cleanser, and your Apothecary. Okay, so most people choose the simple schedule. It's generally for people the easiest to adjust to, especially if you have a family and you're having dinner with your family every night. Um, but it is your choice how you do it. So I'm going to speak to the simple one first because it's basically the same thing the entire 90 days, or I'm going to speak to it in terms of your first 30 days right now. So when you wake up in the morning, you're going to start with your super aminos 23 and take 5 super aminos, generally on an empty stomach, and you can take it with lemon water. And that just really starts to give your body the essential amino acids as you go into your day. So the 23 on that is that it takes 23 minutes for your body to fully assimilate that the amino acids and convert them into proteins that are needed for the body. So after 23 minutes, we recommend that then you have your first shake. And so that would be either power shake or dark berry or some combination of the shakes that you have with your first biomedic. And that will be your first meal of the day. And then we recommend that you just have snacks if you need them until you're at lunchtime. And you'll have I recommended snacks are watery fruits and vegetables, so low sugar. And we recommend the watery fruits because it really helps the lymph system to flush. And so if you're in a wintry place, you can cook those fruits. They can be apples, pears, Asian pears, grapes. You can mix berries. You can make your shake into also more of a smoothie and blend it in with berries. And so basically, you'll have more guidance on that. You should have that guidance that you can look up as to what the lifestyle foods are and the flex foods, and that will be what you want to focus on. And then when we come in toward lunchtime, after you've had light snacks, you're going to have your super aminos again. 5 more super aminos, wait another 23 minutes, and then have another shake. And those are basically your first 2 like nutrient dense meals of the day. You will find most people find that their cravings for food are just getting less and less hunger because the body's actually being nutrified. So this doesn't sound like a lot of food right now, but you may be really surprised at how full you are and how little you're wanting other food. And if you are needing other food, then this is definitely not about starving yourself. It's not about depleting yourself, but just notice if it's an emotional craving for food or it's actually your body being hungry. So if you do need more food, definitely eat it. And if you're noticing that it's an emotional craving, then perhaps sit with that and just see what's there, because that is part of what we're also detoxing, is not just the physical toxins that have come into our body, but also the emotional accumulation. And so I know for myself, every time I've done this, it's been like a lot of emotions have come up to really sit with and clear. And so just, there's a lot that can happen as far as detoxing on every level. Okay, so coming into our afternoon, again, it's snacks, trying to keep it light until dinner. And as I said, again, like don't to starve yourself, whatever you need to do. But at dinner, um, then you're going to have more of a full meal. And so that meal, and Leela will go into the foods, but you're going to focus on basically veggies and light proteins, light grains, and keep it pretty light and simple, all whole foods, really avoiding processed foods. And so that can be soups, especially in the winter. You can have soup. If you are someone who is really likes to have bone broth, that is fine to have bone broth, whatever. You can adjust this to your own diet. But keeping it really whole food and clean. And so that's when you're going to have your second biomedic. Okay, so during the day we had in the morning aminos, then a shake and biomedic, aminos and a shake. Now at dinner you have another biomedic, and before bed your apothecary. So about a half an hour before bed, apothecary. And so that's gonna, for the simple schedule, it will be like that for the first 10 days at least. And then you can choose to integrate the super cleanser either in the middle 10 days or the last 10 days. And the super cleanser is going to be the next level of detoxification. And you will add the super cleanser at the same time that you're taking the biomedic. You can start with 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, and then increase to 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening. If your body does well with that, you can adjust for what works for your body, as far as anywhere between 2 a day to 4 a day. Okay, so that is the simple schedule, and that will be your first 30 days. For the accelerated schedule, what's included is the opportunity to dive in deeper in the middle 10 days to doing more of like a full on cleansing. And so what that looks like is in your first 10 days, rather than having 2 shakes a day, you're going to just start with 1 shake and aminos in the morning. And then in your middle 10 days, and you can adjust this, like you can start to have two, but basically for 10 days, you're going to have 3 servings of aminos a day and 3 shakes a day, and just have fruits and veggies outside of that, watery fruits and veggies. So no grains, no heavier proteins, really keeping it very light. You can still have oils, healthy oils. So if this is the schedule that you want to do, we have much more guidance for it, but just want to introduce it, that there's this opportunity to dive into a deeper 10 days of really doing what people would traditionally consider a cleanse, where you're really lightening the foods that you're eating outside of the shakes. And then in the last 10 days, you're either coming out with going back to 2 and then 1, or just with 2 the whole last 10 days if you did just 1 the first 10 days. Again, we have a lot more information on all of this that will really lay it out. So the last option is the intermittent fasting option. So in intermittent fasting, the bulk, all of your food is consumed within 8 hours of the day, other than the aminos. So when you wake up and you take your and you're very much in 2-hour increments here. So when you wake up at 8 o'clock, you'll take 5 aminos, and then at 10 o'clock, you'd have your first shake with your first biomedic, and that's your first real food of the day. And then at 12 o'clock, you can have another aminos, and then shake, and then oh no, I think it's actually a meal. And you'd have to look at the schedule, sorry, but between 10 o'clock and 6 o'clock p.m. Oh yeah, it's the 2 shakes. It's like the simple schedule, but condensed. And then at 6 o'clock, you're having a fuller meal with your family. So basically, the intermittent fasting schedule is the simple schedule chunked into happening between basically 10 and 6, other than your aminos at 8 o'clock. And your apothecary also happens by 6. So again, if you would, no matter which one you choose, we have much more guidance that will lay it all out. And that is going to be all that I share. I know that was a lot of information. Get in touch with the person who brought you here if you want to know more about any one of these. And I'm going to pass it over to Lila
I'm going to
Grace.
pop in real quick, Leah, and just kind of highlight a couple of things. So those are 3 options. And just so everybody knows, we often recommend the simple schedule if you're brand new, if you're just doing this for the first time, if you haven't done any kind of cleansing in a while, simple is easy. And if you are intrigued what you heard about the other options, like Leah said, just get with the person to make that understandable. And the other things I wanted to say are, with the lunch and dinner option, you could, you can have your dinner be your bigger meal, but you could also have it be lunch. So that's an adjustable, customizable thing for you. And if you're in a wintering climate and you're wanting that warmth and you want to cook your fruits, that's great. Raw fruits are also fine and totally energy giving. And then at the end, I'm going to also go over a few detox tips that we can really support ourselves if these detox symptoms come up. So I want to pass it over to Leila. Thank you so much, Leah. That was fabulous. Leah is so knowledgeable, and I want to pass it over to Leila, who's also knows so much and is so caring and has given so much support to these transformations. Thanks for being here, Leila.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And I just really wanted to, well, first of all, yes, my name is Leila, and I have been guiding these, or part of, facilitating these groups for over 3 years. And it just is such a joy to witness the transformations that actually happen for so many people, including myself. Yeah, it's been really life-changing. And what has been so incredible for me and so many others that I want to really speak to, and kind of following up what Leah described, is how that it's not so rigid. I was personally a little scared maybe of the idea of doing a reset initially. And when I saw how I could really just fit this into my own schedule, and everyone can, you can customize it, you can choose if you're hungry and you have your snacks, so that's what I was actually going to talk about. Whether or not you choose the simple schedule, the accelerated, or intermittent fasting, something that will set you up for success is to prepare foods that you're going to want, because the things that we're cutting out are generally the things that are easy to just grab and eat. And so when we're having those moments when we want to grab something quickly, we want to have things prepped, and that will just make it so much easier if you know you're going to be leaving the house for the day. So things like cutting up your melons, if you have melon wherever you are, it might not be seasonal to you, or just pre-washing, right? Your berries, have a container of berries ready to walk out the door, and you can have that with you for the day, for when you get that craving, those moments where you want something. It's just good to have. I also personally carry the aminos with me. They're always here in my car with me. So that, yeah, if you didn't anticipate being out of the house all day, and maybe you had your aminos in the morning, but now it's time for your afternoon aminos or your lunch, right? So be prepared. I would highly recommend keeping the aminos with you in your bag, your gym bag, whatever it is, at work, on your desk. That's been super helpful. And some other things like prepping. So if I want to say get home and have a little dinner with my family, but something for me that I wanted to share is I will do this, but not actually eat the same food as my family, because generally they don't want to be eating super fresh foods every single night, like I'm going to be doing during the detox portion, the 10-day portion. So yeah, I will actually prepare a salad ahead of time, because then it's easier for me, going into it, without the dressing, of course, so it doesn't get soggy. These are the tricks. If you, cut up your vegetables, have all your cucumbers sliced. So cucumbers are like your best friend during this time. One of my favorite things would be just, mashing up some avocado, make a little guac, and then your cucumbers already cut, they're like chips. So, cucumbers with guac, or any other, sometimes people have great recipes. You'll find recipes in our Facebook group for like fun dips, but of course, plant-based. So getting into, yeah, what is plant-based and what are we cutting out? Again, listen to your body. And if you want warm foods or you want bone broth, and that's, good for your constitution, that's all good. Also, if you want to really take it to that kind of deeper level, the things that we do want to eliminate or at least try to cut down on are going to be dairy and, of course, meat, sugar, processed foods, caffeine, and gluten or grains. And I also wanted to speak to caffeine, because that is sometimes a challenging one. So for me personally, I have to ease off of it. I don't overnight. Oh, and alcohol. Yes, thank you. I don't have much alcohol normally, so I forget about that one. But yes, no alcohol. But just know that it doesn't mean overnight. We don't want anything to feel drastic. So I always like to encourage, like, give yourself the first week to 10 days of slowly cutting down on those things. That's how I do it with coffee. If I'm used to having 1 or 2 cups, start with that. And then you gradually cut down. And by the end of a week, you're down to the tiniest little, shot. And you realize, oh, I didn't actually need that, because you're so energized, because you've been fueling your body with all of the superfoods all week. And then you're feeling great and you don't need the coffee after all. That's how it works best for me. And I would say that with sugars, or any of those things that are your comfort foods, take some time, ease off of it. Don't be hard on yourself. If one day you got down to have a cup of coffee and then the next day you were like, oh, I want a little bit more. Okay, fine. It's not about beating yourself up, just knowing that you're doing your best. And the other thing I wanted to touch on, oh, right. So what will help you to do your best is, we're going to invite you. This isn't required, but we're going to invite you to look in your fridge and look in your pantry and see what's in there that is maybe, not in alignment with what it is that you want to be eating during this time. I, again, have a family and children, so I have to hide stuff from myself if I'm not getting rid of it. But yeah, you can clean out your fridge, maybe move things into a different cupboard that you don't want to be tempted by. And mostly I would say that's processed foods, right? Sugars, again, dairy, like all those things that might be normal for you. Try not having them around and then just seeing if that makes it that much easier. So those were just some thoughts, tips, and I'll probably have some more that I forgot, but wishing you all well on the start of your journey and excited to be here with you for it. Thank you.
Beautiful, Leela. Thank you so much. And I'll add to that as you remove things, think about stocking up, thinking about filling that fridge and that pantry with delicious, health-giving. Go to the farmer's market and just get tons of cucumbers and celery and juicy fruits and veggies that you can lightly saute or steam or turn into soups. And all of this is going to really put you in a state of abundance with this program, because it is about giving to ourselves and flooding the body with nutrition rather than it be about deprivation. And so let's make it be about that by I love going all out and just covering my counter with like so many beautiful fruits and vegetables in the fridge and everything. So I invite you to do that. And next, we're going to turn it over to Carly to inform us about reading labels, which is so important nowadays. Thank you, Carly. And thank you, Leela.
Yes, thank you, ladies. You guys are great. I'm sitting here learning myself, so I love it. Okay, so this is actually hard for me, and the only thing I have in a bag at my house that is not just whole foods. So I was like, how am I going to teach this today? So you guys are going to be there too. But this is a nut trail. It's a healthy granola, but I'm going to show you so if you here, let me see. So first pull out your food label, and the first thing when people tell me, I'm like, what are you looking at when you look at your food label? So the first thing that I teach people to look at is a serving size. So in this, it's a 1/3 cup of serving size. So like, if you're not looking at that and you're not conscious of that, you could easily be having 7 servings of granola if you're just dumping this, right? And then know that the calories that when you see 160 is for the 1/3 cup. So 1/3 cup is like this, your hand would be your palm is about 1 cup. So it's a third of that. So when you start to think about this logistically, it doesn't take much to hit that 160 calories. The next thing I go to after calories is what are the ingredients? So below all of the other things, I like to look at the ingredients list. And if the ingredients are all whole foods, meaning something I could buy, I could make, I could pronounce, like that's a way I know that it's a whole food because I can say the word. Like I can say almonds. Now, like some of the words are like, I actually have no idea what that means. I won't put that in my body. And so that's the easiest way to read a food label. I'm like, okay, there's sunflower seeds in here. There's pumpkin seeds. There's coconuts. There's almonds. There's pecans. There's your erythritol, a sweetener, butter and dried blueberries, cinnamon, salt, monk fruit. Okay, all of them are natural sweeteners. So when I look at that, I can say them. I know what all that food product is. There's no confusion about what I'm putting into my body. That's how I know it's whole foods. Okay, so whole foods is something it's grown from the earth. It's made from a tree. It's grown in the ground. That's what we're talking about when we talk about whole foods. So then the other thing I'll go to next is the sugars. And I particularly like to look at the part that it says, whoops, you're going off, where it says the added sugars. So sugars are naturally occurring in our fruit and honey and dates. Now I love sugar. I like eating it in fruit, but I will not put processed sugar in my body. So when Leela is talking about getting rid of sugar, I know for a lot of my clients that freaks them out. And for me, that would freak me out too. But we're not saying you can't enjoy natural sweeteners. So using natural sweeteners from like dates, honey, have it come from the bees and the trees and the fruit rather than white processed sugar that has been it's a ton of chemicals in your body, and the processing is causes inflammation. So they do have some added sugars in here from naturally sweetened from monk fruit. So it says included 0 added sugars. So nothing was an added sugar. And that's where I really like to look at when I'm looking at my food labels. So those are my tips for now. You can also get a lot of other information. Your carbohydrates, if you're doing macro counting, and your protein and all that. But those are really the top 3 or 4 things that I look for on a food label to know, yes, this is going in my cart, or no, this is a skip it. Easy, breezy, keep it simple, and you guys will be able to succeed with that motto.
Love that, Carly. So good. Thank you. Yeah, when we know better, we do better, right? So knowledge is power, and we're really excited to support all of us in taking our health, our wellness, our vitality, and how good we feel to the next level during the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days together. So I want to wrap up here with a couple of detox tips. Leah had mentioned it's possible you could have a detox reaction. That could be anything like nausea or a headache, or even vomiting or aches and pains or difficulty sleeping. It is so different for each person, depending on what your background is, what kind of toxic load you're coming in with, how much experience you've had cleansing before. We really feel confident that this is a safe protocol, and that there's nothing that's going to cause any alarm. So if you're worried, definitely get with your sponsor to support you in moving through it. But generally speaking, one tip that you can do if something comes up that concerns you is you can slow down by you can slow down and speed up the detox. So speeding it up would be more shakes, more fruit, more of the flushing rapidly. And some people want that. Some people want to just flush and move through and persevere. And then some people, it's too much. And so you can modify it. You can slow it down by eating heavier foods, add in more fats, cut down the biometic, the amount you're taking, cut down the amount of shakes if you're having a reaction at first. So again, you get with a person that supported you here to decide, or listen to your body, and just know that this is very modifiable. But if you are experiencing a detox symptom and you're like, okay, this is great, this is what I'm here for, I'm here to get this stuff out, there are a few things you can do to help the elimination process and move those toxins out. So one of them is dry brushing. You can go and get a dry brush, and you can just do that every morning or whatever time of day. And you can just search up how to dry brush. Like, it's just a very simple process. And all of these ladies could probably speak better to it than I can, but I'm probably has something to do with the lymph system. And I just know that it works. It's, because the skin is the largest organ of elimination. So dry brushing is one. We do, in the occasion that people experience constipation or are like, I need to move my bowels faster than it's happening naturally, we have recommended a salt flush. And so we can post, or they might already be posted in the Facebook group, but we'll have a section on elimination tips to help the detox process move along. If you're looking for okay, the stuff's getting churned up and it's coming up, and we want to get those buggers out. Like, what can I do? So that's what some of these things are. Sauna is another one that can help bring, just get those toxins out. Sweating of any kind. So if you have the energy and you can exercise, but if you don't, enemas or colonics are great too. And if you don't know about these things and you want support on learning and how to do that safely at home, you know, the internet is amazing, and you can also reach out to us. There's teas, there's laxative teas, there's herbs that can help move things along. If, you know, some people literally have, you know, their detox symptom is it's going too fast, and other people, their detox symptom is it's binding and not moving. And part of it depends on what foods you're eating in combination. I do recommend lots of, like Leah said, juicy fruits and vegetables. That all that high fiber, high water content fruits and vegetables is really going to help move everything through the colon in the gentlest way, to where you don't need all these extra detox things. I'm just kind of throwing it out there that if you're in that place where you're like, I could use something more, these are some things that can support. You know what else can support? Lying down and taking a nap, putting on some beautiful music, putting an eye pillow, and just really receiving the blessing of this detox, of this time. Now, you won't be experiencing this probably for much more than a small fraction of your whole journey. A lot of the time, you're just going to be going about your life like it's any other day, and just kind of replacing other foods with these newer foods. And a lot of times you might just be experiencing tremendous amounts of energy that you're like, where did all this energy even come from? I know that for myself, whenever I do these transformations, I always do a deep clean on my house or garage or something, because I have so much excess energy. So I'm saying all these detox symptoms, but not to say that that's how it's always going to be. But in case it comes up, and again, feel free to reach out. Put questions in the Facebook group. And I also invite and encourage everyone to introduce yourself in the Facebook group. Post a picture of yourself. Tell us your intentions for your transformation. Tell us what you would love to experience coming out the other side. It's very powerful to state your goals and intentions and be witnessed by other people. And then we get to celebrate at the end when we experience those things. So, I'm going to wrap it up in the interest of time here, and we will dive in. Every week, we're going to have an opportunity for you to come and ask questions live and get more tips and teachings here from the crew. And again, this is a rolling, ongoing journey. So if you have anybody who, you know, you bump into or you tell and they're like, you're doing what? I want to do that. Feel free to invite them in, and they can jump in at any point. So welcome, everybody. Congratulations for taking this step. Thank you to all of our amazing facilitators and all of your amazing wisdom and hearts, and have a beautiful, blessed day. Aloha.